As the 1983 French Open got underway at Roland Garros, it had been 37 years since a man from France had won the singles title. And then came the dazzling homeland hero, Yannick Noah, a man who played with the kind of passion a French crowd adored. Noah was agile, aggressive, engaged. Seeded sixth that year, in the quarters, Noah upset 1981 Roland Garros runner-up Yvon Lendl.
Number one in France, a national hero.
In the finals, Noah came up against another rough customer, defending champion Mats Wilander. Knowing he could not outsteady Wilander from the baseline, Noah attacked relentlessly, repeatedly pressing Wilander, ripping his way through the first set, squeaking out a close second.
Yannick Noah is one set away from bringing the championship back to France.
Could Noah close it out? Or would the tenacious Wilander make one of his patented comebacks? It went to a tiebreaker, and Noah made one last push.
That's going out. The champion of the 1983 French Open, Yannick Noah.
The champion. Noah had caught fire, an incredible fortnight of sizzling shot making. And no other Frenchman has won it all at Roland Garros since.
Now, Paul, you're a couple years younger than Noah, but I know you played against him in doubles, and I think you played with him at one point. Talk about what it was like, not just his tennis, but the aura that sort of surrounded Yannick.
He was a rock star. You know, he was one of the first guys that really had the charisma and just elevated tennis outside of the tennis court. He walked into a room, heads turned. He was captivating, unbelievable grace and humility, just an incredibly kind man. And one of the greatest athletes that's ever played this game. You know, he played serve and volley tennis on clay courts to win that French Open title, which was very uncommon in that day and age. And I'll tell you what surprised me, he's never got past the third round at Wimbledon, even with such a great serve and so much athleticism at the net. Struggled to return serve, but boy, he electrified the French crowd that year. And I just remember the whole tennis world was ecstatic because he is such a lovely human being and one of the most well-liked guys in the locker room as well.
Yeah, he had such a larger-than-life personality, Yannick Noah. And, you know, when he won, it was like a whole country celebrated, and the world really, because he was, you know, such a popular champion. And, you know, for me, it was the bridge from Arthur Ashe to Yannick Noah and understanding a little bit of that history and, you know, being a part of it. I turned pro a little bit later, 4 or 5 years, you know, after that. So I didn't really see it firsthand, but to watch the effects after that win and how that carried through, you know, in the years after, it's been pretty unbelievable. And you think about Yannick Noah now, and he is still a huge star. We've been talking about players, what they've been doing during the shutdown, and Yannick Noah, he had to cancel concerts. He was not just a great player, but he is an entertainer. And I had the pleasure of actually going and seeing one of his concerts, and that was a lot of fun. So he just crossed over, you know, into so many different areas because of his personality and really popular champion over the years.
Yeah, Paul, you referred to him as a rock star. He's literally a rock star all over Europe. And, you know, we talk about the pressure involved in winning the Grand Slam in your home country. And I think the math of what's happened before and then what's happened since really illustrates that. These are the best performances at Roland Garros by a Frenchman since Noah won in '83. And Paul, it's just, I don't know, is it the pressure of the French press? What is it?
It's a little bit of everything, right? It's the pressure of that home country major event, right? That's on your shoulders, which makes it very difficult to play. And if you look at those gentlemen who got to as far as they did in the draws, if you remember who their contemporaries are, that has a lot to do with it too. Look at Tsonga 13 and 15, Gael Monfils back in 2008. Henri Lecomte played some great tennis in 1988 and lost to Wilander in the finals. And I think, Brett, isn't there some ridiculous stat with that match? Didn't Wilander miss like one first serve or something?
And Wielander still hasn't made an unforced error since that match, I think, right?
Yeah, so I think it's a combination of all those things. Peeling, incredibly talented, but look, that home country major event, that weight is something that is very difficult to quantify.
Yeah, it's so difficult to play when there's so much more pressure, so many more eyes on you as a player, and for players, particularly playing at the French Open, that is such a huge event. There's not really anything else going on during those 2 weeks. All eyes are focused on the event, and it can be difficult to play your best tennis under that kind of pressure. And I think it makes Yannick Noah's win that much bigger, that he was able to play such free tennis and to win, in straight sets against a guy who was so steady, who didn't give you very much. It was just a masterful effort from Yannick Noah over the course of those 2 weeks.
And by the way, Noah would win the French Open doubles the next year, 1984. He went into the Hall of Fame in 2005.